Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make tiny improvements to your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon.
All right, welcome to this episode. Today I'm in person with my new employee, who's also one of my good friends, Nicole. So I've hinted about Nicole in a couple of episodes, but today we are going to talk briefly about how we started working together and how she's helping me, and then a really exciting way that she can help you if you are a listener and you need some streamlining, some help getting organized. We'll talk all about that. But first, welcome, Nicole. Very excited to have you on my team. Nicole and I met at our full-time jobs. We both have day jobs working at the same college. And I was really intimidated to hire anyone until I talked to my friend Erin, who kind of broke down that it can be a very part-time situation. You can find people that are a good fit and kind of have them grow into positions that interest them, which Nicole already had an interest in being like a virtual assistant and SEO, and she has all of this like technology background. So she now is this 17 hats expert. And after 2 weeks of working together, she went in, I don't know, what would you say, cleaned up?
Yeah, just kind of adjusted and fine-tuned things.
Yeah, so she went in and she has access to my 17 Hats accounts, and I feel like fresh eyes were really valuable because I've been doing the same thing for probably like 5 years, and then it took her a week to be like, well, why do you have that step if you never use it? And why does this not take place before this? And so she was able to go in and clean up, and I was like, this is amazing. You need to offer this to more people than just me. So today we are going to talk about Nicole's fresh eyes, 3 ways that I or that other balloon business owners can stand out. So stand out against the competition. And we all know there's a ton of competition. And none of these tips have to do with like being a better balloon person. They all have to do about your customer experience, kind of your back and forth. Right. So hit us with your knowledge, Nicole. What is the first way that we should be standing out as business owners?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing would be, communicating with your clients quickly. When they inquire, let them know that you are interested in their job and give them some feedback as to your actual availability. Don't ghost any clients when they reach out.
Yeah, I am so guilty of like getting an email with a job that I want. But like because I'm not at my computer or because it's a Friday, I don't want to like screw it up. So I'm like, I'm going to do that on Monday. But then it's been like 3 days and they haven't heard back, and sometimes I kind of lose track of them. So like what is your advice? What is your strategy? How can we be better at responding quickly?
Yeah, so for example, with a CRM, in most cases you're going to have some kind of auto reply that can go out from your inquiry form on your website, so that you can right away you can thank them for their inquiry, and maybe you're not confirming your availability yet, but you just let them know that they're on your radar and you care about their request and you're going to get back to them.
Yeah, a tip too is that my autoresponder is like really meaty. Like it has a lot of information in there. It doesn't just say like thanks for your submission. It says thank you, and here are a bunch of steps that will come next, and here's how you can be ready to work with us, and here's the color chart, and here's a pricing guide, so people can almost like start pricing out and booking their own jobs before I even get back to them. So that has been a good tip. What's number 2?
Yeah, so answering any questions like before the client would have one, which is kind of what you were just speaking to. When someone has to ask what's next, they don't maybe trust you so much as a vendor when you're not, giving them a clear process to go through.
This happened to me like 2 times in the last month. We're renovating our house, so every contractor is just a nightmare. Like, they'll be like, I'm available. And it's like, okay, so like when though? Or like, how can I pay you? Or what's the timeline here? How far out are you booked up? Like, or they would just never call me back. So like that was really hard having to guide them through their own process. Right. And then another person, I booked a photo session as a gift for my sister. I booked like headshots for her business. And the girl like would not take my money. Like 4 times I was like, this sounds great. And she was like, well, so I can send you an invoice if this sounds good. I was like, yep, it does. Send me the invoice. They were like, well, great. The total's going to be this. Are you still interested? It was like, yes, just let me give you money. Like, and it was so slow. She was answering my questions, but like in the slowest, most agonizingly painful way possible. So like that was really hard too. And again, kind of puts a mistrust. It was just like, do you know how to do this? Like, do you actually have a business? Because you seem like very hesitant to take my job.
Right. And as someone who is definitely an introvert, I would say that, it can feel pushy to like provide these types of information right away, but you're really just serving your client best because everyone wants to get through that, messy part, as fast as we can, from inquiry to the details to actually doing the job. So the faster, we can make that happen, it's better for everyone. So you don't need to, feel pushy just because you're, keeping things moving along.
Yeah, and so I just peeked at your notes, and it feeds right into the third point. So I'm going to let you launch right into that.
Yeah, clear process. If you have a good idea about what, each type of service or job that you do, your process for each of those services, if it's clear to you, it'll be clear to them. And again, it's just going to help the whole thing move along much quicker, less questions, and probably less confusion, or they know exactly what to expect from you.
Yeah.
And then, if there's no confusion along the way, they're probably going to give you a better review, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, or they're like not confused when you all of a sudden ask for 100% upfront to book their job. Like I've had people like, wait, what? But now with my auto email, it says like your job is not booked until you've paid. So they're kind of like ready for that. I feel like that also speeds them up through the process. But I think what a lot of business owners are guilty of is like they don't know their own process. And that is where I see you coming in. You helped me big time, but I see you helping other people with this as well. That like in our head it makes sense, but then if you actually had to like write down what you and I call our workflow, just because that's we're in 17 hats, that's what it's called, is the workflow. So like if you outlined your entire process from inquiry to Google review, like you should know every single one of those steps. And if you can't memorize it, then like it should be written down somewhere. Like you should have a template, like an outline. And I don't really feel like I had that until like 2 years ago. And then you streamlined my process and actually like broke it down into different processes, like a few workflows that really helped. But I feel like the big stumbling block is like, well, people ask if I'm available and I confirm. And then, I book the job, and then I do the job. It's like, whoa, there's like 30 steps that you just left out in between like email and booking. Like there's a lot that needs to happen. So I think the more streamlined it can be, the better. Yeah. So I'm excited. Is it okay if I start talking about our launch, our products?
Sure.
So we're going to talk more about specifics of business, but I don't want to bury the lead here. We're excited to kind of offer some of these products to help you. I get probably 10 messages a week from people just either like, I don't even know where to start in terms of having a CRM, or a lot of people have 17 hats and just like aren't utilizing it because it's a beefy platform. Like there's a lot to it. So we kind of have like two different options. So I am selling a package of templates. Basically, it's like a tech-free option. If you just want to streamline, if you want a workflow and you want templates that you can use, like email templates, that is a simple download that you can buy from me, and that is through the Bright Balloon. That is like a Canva template. You can go in, you can see my exact workflow step by step by step, and Nicole had a lot to do with this. But it's just a visual. You could go in and change that to customize to you and your business, but it also has email templates for every step of the way. So I have like one template that says I'm not available. I have 3 templates that say I am available, but I have a minimum for your area, or but I have to deliver on a different day, or yes, but consider a grab and go garland. So I have a lot of those. We have the confirmation of the delivery. We have the thank you, the follow-up. All the templates word for word that Nicole and I use to run my entire business are in this set of template downloads. So if you have no software, if you have no CRM, you can still use these to just like copy and paste into your email. Like that alone speeds it up. Even since Nicole has gotten her hands on my CRM, it's so much easier when I get an email that's like, yes, I want to take this job, but I have to tell them that it's an hour away, so the mileage is going to be kind of high, and not even having to think about that anymore. Now it's like, oh, I got that email and I know exactly which of my 4 responses I'm going to copy and paste and send to them. And that's why I can respond in like 3 minutes.
Right.
Like I get the notifications on my phone and I will copy and paste. Well, I don't. I use 17 Hats, but I know which of those emails I'm going to shoot off in the next like 5 minutes. And people are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you responded so fast. But
and in most cases, there's still some room to customize that template for that job.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yes.
And sometimes I will. I'll put like one sentence in there like, oh, I love that venue. I just had a job there. Something so I don't sound like a robot. But 99% of the work is already done. So that set of my workflow and the templates are available through the Bright Balloon. And we'll link to that in the show notes. But then Nicole has her own like freelance offerings that I'm so afraid she's going to get so busy helping other people. But she needs to. Like I get these questions all the time and I'm just like I don't have the time. I'm not as savvy as she is in terms of like tech and in terms of like adapting to other businesses. That's where I struggle. It's like, well, this works for me, so it should work for you, versus Nicole's strength is like, let's really figure out what's going to work for you. So talk about your offerings, talk about everything you have planned.
Sure, thank you. So right now I'm offering some help with 17 Hats CRM only, maybe expand in the future, but who knows. So 17 Hats has 3 different levels of subscription, kind of depending on, how much automation and how many workflows you want in your business. So I do have some packages that kind of correspond with each level of your subscription, and we can set up things like your lead inquiry, some of those email templates, workflows, multiple calendars. It will depend on, of course, the subscription that you have according to the tools that you'll have inside 17 Hats. But I'm excited to help more businesses just be more streamlined. Sometimes you're in it so deep that you just can't even see what your process is. And like you said, like it's in your head, but there's always still that chance for a detail to be missed. And it'll just like prevent some of those errors from happening when you're communicating with your clients. So I'm excited to offer some help and just getting things set up and streamlined, organized, to your liking and the way you work in your business.
Yeah, so like I guess to compare what we're offering, my templates are like if you were to buy a recipe, and Nicole's would be like if you were to hire a chef. Like there's a difference. They sort of they're trying to help you with the same goal, but we understand that people are at different places. Like if you have an employee that you can pay to learn how to do 17 Hats and they just need a little bit of like wording help, then the templates might be great. Or if you're like a total do-it-yourselfer, or if you're really techie and you already have 17 Hats, or you have nothing, the templates would be great. But the number one question I get is people being like, can you just help me set it up? Like, I don't know where to start. I already have it. I just don't even know how to do it. And it's too much time for me. I unfortunately just can't. So that is where you should definitely chat with Nicole. And she's taking limited spots, right?
I am for now. I can take 3 clients, I think, right now, and then we'll kind of see where it goes. And of course, you can contact me, and I'll start a wait list if we need one. But I would say 3 clients, probably through the end of the year.
Yeah, so those are going to fill up fast, I think, based on the emails that I've received for people looking for help. If you're interested, I would definitely take advantage of that. Because what would be cool is that if you have nothing in place right now, you could have an entire system built to start your new year fresh. Like it just feels really good to like know like, oh, I started using 17 Hats and got my workflows and everything set for 2022. And then you have like a very clean, like all of your clients are in there, you know when you started. It gives you enough time that you're not feeling like you're having to like roll all of this out in the middle of chaos. Like because it's hard, like it's tricky. Like it takes some messing around with different templates, and we even had someone book and like something went crazy and she got the same confirmation email like 4 times from both of us. But like again, people are understanding, and you can just say like, oh, I'm working with a new person and we're getting everything in order. And so you have to be ready to be flexible and be responsive. I think that's another thing that your clients need to be able to work with you. It's not just like a turnkey like concierge, because you need to know what works best for them, not necessarily what works best for me or for you. And the other thing, I want to give you another second to chat, but the one thing that we kind of both realized is that 17 Hats made it possible for me to hire help.
Right.
And I didn't really think about that in advance. But when Nicole came on board, it was like, I just know I want you to work with me. I don't really know how. But having 17 Hats already in place was like a good first step to be like, okay, log in, we'll make you an account, we'll get you started. Now you see where I could use you. And we found kind of a nice place for her to work with me in Wisconsin Balloon Decor.
Yeah.
But again, because it's all in that CRM and not in my head and not on like paper tickets that only I have access to back at my shop, like she can do it on her time, I can do stuff on my time, and we kind of have fit together because we have this workflow set.
Right.
So I would think if you're thinking more long-term, that is a good goal as well. If you're a one-person show and you're thinking eventually you want to hire some part-time help, I would say you definitely want to go the 17 Hats route and really get some automation and get some templates that multiple people could interact with versus the template route where you're still just kind of copying and pasting yourself. But that is definitely like a good segue. If you have no automation, if you're typing the same response to every single customer, you have to at least type your own templates. I don't care. You don't have to buy mine. But like, you should not be writing every single email, every single response, because 99% of the time, you already know what you're going to say, and you can speed up the process a ton.
Yeah, save yourself some brain space and just use a template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is, now I'm putting you on the spot, but like being newer to 17 Hats and balloons, now that you're a pro, what do you see like some of the valuable features, and not for this to just be a 17 Hats commercial, everyone already knows that I love it, but like from the outside looking in, what are some of the things that you're like, oh, that's super handy, like you should utilize that?
Yeah, that is on the spot. I would say I do like their 3-in-1 document system where you can send a quote, a contract, and an invoice all in the same document. They just kind of click through and they click the items that they want. You can choose, you can lay out things on their quote just as they suggested, or you can even add in some like, you might also like these things that they may or may not select. They click on what they want, it moves on into their invoice, they pay that invoice, and they would probably sign their contract first, and then pay the invoice. And it's all done within, a minute that they pull it up. So I think that's a really fantastic tool that
I love the quote, and I don't utilize them enough. I think I'd like to see using those a little bit more, because you can have the product locked in, but then the quantity is flexible. Right. So it's like a helium bouquet costs this much, and then they pick how many they want. Or like a column costs this much, and then they pick. It like makes it feel like you're not even selling. Like you feel like you're not a salesman at all. You're not pushy, because like they're ultimately choosing what they want.
Yeah.
Yes, they're shopping, exactly. And it's a nice like controlled way to do it without having like an e-commerce site, because I don't want people to be able to like check out and pay for everything and book a big job without me ever confirming my availability, because like that wouldn't work for my life. Right. So I think the quote's like a good compromise. It's like a good in between where they take some ownership, but ultimately you're still offering them that quote after you confirm availability.
Right, yes.
I like how clean everything is. Like, I really appreciate 17 Hats design. Like, I think the invoices look clean. I think everything's really minimal. Everything's really easy. Even like QuickBooks, I feel like I think their invoices look like a little bit more sterile. I'm like a big like visual person, so I think, for me, I think everything seems really intuitive. And actually, you're using 17 Hats for your freelance business, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So like, that's kind of cool, because people will be able to book with you, seeing it from the customer standpoint, which we don't often get to do.
Right.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, you'll see it in the eyes of your potential clients. So
yeah. Well, great. I'm really excited. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me. But who listening would you say is like your ideal customer? If someone's on the fence of like, I feel like I need help, but I'm not sure, like, who are you looking to work with?
Sure. I would say, we probably need to have a business website that we can have a lead capture form housed on to, intake the clients, and just someone who is just tired of retyping the same things and, kind of maybe losing jobs because they didn't reply fast enough, or, someone, if you're finding that you mistakenly sent the wrong proposal to the wrong client, these things can become an issue. So if that's happening to you, I think some workflows will really, really help your business. and keep your client relationships really, really strong.
Yeah, and the thing we haven't even really gotten into yet, because we just started working together, is like the year, like the annual cycle. Like,
right.
These clients that book with you, they stay in the system. Like a CRM, it's like a customer relationship management tool. So like the whole point of it is to like help your relationships stay clear and not lose track of people. Mm-hmm. So long term, I'm really excited about like, how do we not only have clear communication with them when they're booking, but like what could we then do in terms of booking reminders and knowing exactly what they ordered last year. Like that's what for corporate clients, half the time they don't even know what they ordered at their last party and they just want the same thing. So being able to like pull that information really quickly and send them that copy, like that, to me, that's really exciting of where it could go. But again, I've been using 17 Hats for like 4 or 5 years, and I've really been utilizing those workflows for, I don't know, maybe a year or two, but just having you around the last 2 weeks has really helped me kind of like defend my own process, because like there are things in my workflow that I'm like, no, I never do that. Like I always just check the box, but I never ask for the Google review and I never document the pictures, and but now having you kind of being like, well, did you do that? It's like, oh gosh, okay, I have
Somebody's
to.
watching.
Well, because when you're working with someone else too, it's like part of Nicole's workflow is triggered by things that I have to complete. And until I complete those, she's not getting notifications. So it's more like I'm dropping the ball. So it's kind of nice. And again, I never knew how to bring an employee on board, which is why I never did. So this has helped me a ton. And it was an accident. I was not prepared at all. I was just like, she's good at everything. I need her on my team. So, but if you either have an employee and you're not sure how to utilize them, or if you are one day hoping to have an employee, and Nicole's very part-time for me, and it's very flexible, but it's because we're kind of in the same system that I think has been awesome. So I would say, yeah, your client needs a business up and running, they need a website, and they need to be like kind of really willing to work. Like this isn't like you're going to pay for your services and then wait to activate everything for 3-4 weeks. It's like, right, you're ready to do this. Like you could have a workflow up and running in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I would definitely need people to be, letting me know. I want all the email templates to still sound like them, and the contract the invoice language to sound like them. So I will need quite a bit of input from each client that I'm helping. And there will be some fine tuning as we go through things as well, like we talked. So just it's going to be some back and forth. Of course, we'll try to make it as smooth as possible, but just expect that, setting up a CRM and all these workflows will require some fine tuning.
Right, exactly. So hopefully those options help, because I have been getting messages for probably 6 months now since I started working with 17 Hats, like a little bit closer. Like I'm an ambassador for them and I'm teaching next week for them at a summit. But I want to help everybody love this software as much as I do, but like it's not like setting up an email account. Like it has to be customized. You have to work at it. I said it in another episode, like it's like hiring an employee and training that employee. Like you have to teach the software how to do what you need it to do. Right. So I don't have the bandwidth to do that. I can offer you the templates and a sample workflow, but Nicole can offer you the actual like one-on-one attention. So both of those options will be linked in the show notes that Nicole's going to go type, because that's part of her job, which is the best thing ever. And yeah, I hope that it helps. I know that it will help people out there, because I know there are still people without any system in place. And even if your system is looking at a sheet of paper and figuring out what step comes next, I know that'll be an upgrade for a lot of people. Yeah. Because I felt really on top of things, and it probably took me 3 years to write everything down. Like it didn't seem like I needed to. So hopefully that is valuable and helpful, and we are excited to work with some of you closer.
Absolutely.
And I think Nicole's company is also going to grow. Again, I just love putting words in her mouth, but she's not just a 17 Hats expert. She's a digital strategist. So she is behind the scenes coming up with more solutions for all of us that will help our businesses. And she has an insider's view of the balloon world too, which really helps. Yeah, she's learning quick. But I haven't made her tie any balloons yet.
No, not yet. No, just don't ask me to. Definitely don't design any, garland or anything. That's not my wheelhouse.
No, that's great. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. And I think we'll be hearing more from Nicole. She has no choice. I'm going to have her come in and share all of her knowledge with us. But again, I know there's a lot of people out there that need just more hands-on help, and she is your girl. So
yeah, thank you.
All right.
I'm excited.
See you guys next week.
That wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I tried to keep it bright and light in a few minutes or less. I'll talk to you next time. For more information about any of the resources or courses mentioned in today's show, please head to thebrightballoon.com or check the show notes wherever you're listening.